Well, good day to all of our awesome JubiRev JubiMax family members. T. Lamont Silver Sr. here. Now, you may see this video on Tuesday, May the 28th. I'm actually cutting it on Monday, May the 27th. It's Memorial Day as I'm doing this recording in the U.S., which is why the company did not have any webinars today in observance of Memorial Day. And tomorrow night, again, this may be tonight if you're seeing this on Tuesday, Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, instead of having the income opportunity webinar that we normally have, we're going to have a vitally important corporate update. It won't be a training webinar. It's going to be an update webinar. Very important, okay? Make sure that you and all of your team are on there. I'm not here to hype you up. I'm not here to get you excited. I want to make sure that you are on that webinar. Now, it's what's the word I'm looking for? Can't even think of the word. Surprise, no. Anyway, everyone knows that's been a part with JubiRev JubiMax for any length of time, and many of you have been a part of our intimate following for much longer than that, that there is a heightened level of regulatory scrutiny when it comes to compensation models that have a revenue sharing component, where the bulk of the company's compensation plan is tied into a revenue sharing type of compensation plan. Obviously, a few weeks ago, there was a company that had a revenue sharing model that simply decided to cut all ties with U.S. reps, U.S. affiliates, and just abruptly terminated all U.S. affiliates with no discussion other than a post in their back office. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, obviously that unnerved a lot of people, even in JubiRev JubiMax, people that had nothing to do with that particular company. What does this mean? And then one of the things that company did is they said, hey, the revenue sharing model is not compliant in the U.S., or we're leaving the U.S. Well, that's a bunch of bah humbug, okay? But in any event, the question has been, the biggest question that I've been fielding over the past few weeks is, what is Jubi doing? You know, I want to make sure that as I'm spending my time, spending my effort, spending my energy, even spending money, that when I go to bed tonight, I can sleep with both eyes closed and feel that when I wake up tomorrow, the company's still going to be here. I don't want to sleep like this, you know. And as a result, you know, if that has been a part of your thinking, whether consciously or subconsciously, does that impact your going out and promoting JubiRev JubiMax to in full? Certainly it does. So tomorrow night, or it could be tonight, depending on when you're seeing this video, our president, J. Joshua Beisel, is going to share some very key things that you want to be there and hear firsthand. What he's done over the past few weeks is he has actually hired some of the top MLM attorneys. Now, we already had one of the top MLM attorneys. There's a small fraternity, a very small fraternity of what are considered top MLM attorneys, particularly that operate in the U.S. Now, maybe I'm sure there's others outside the U.S., but that operate in the U.S. There's a small handful, all right, small handful. And he has actually brought on, I think it's been 4 or 5 major attorney firms to take a look at our model so that he could get various opinions, maybe even varied opinions. And unfortunately, they don't necessarily agree about much, but varied opinions. And from that was able to then work with some consultants to formulate a game plan so that when you and I go to bed each night, that we have confidence that the company's dotting the I's and crossing the T's. So you're going to hear about some modifications. You're going to hear about some major enhancements, and you want to be there for yourself, okay? So that webinar is going to be Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, JubiRevTraining.com, as opposed to our income opportunity webinar. Now, What I will then do is I'm going to do a series of webinars throughout the week for our team to help us digest, because there will be a lot of information that's going to be covered tomorrow night. A lot of information, or if you're watching this for the first time on Tuesday, tonight. A lot of information is going to be covered. It's going to be difficult. I can tell you this is Memorial Day, and I've spent over 5 hours with the president today going through the enhancements, modifications, the things that the company's doing, some of the things that the attorneys and the consultants want to see in terms of, making sure that when Mr. Regulator comes, that we can pass the regulatory test, so on and so forth. All right, so it's going to be a lot to digest, and I don't expect you to get it all tomorrow night. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a series of webinars this week. I'm going to actually have a webinar immediately following the training webinar. It may not start to midnight, okay? But for those that come to the 9 p.m. webinar, if there are still some points of fuzziness, I want to fill in as many of the gaps as I possibly can. So I plan to have a marathon night on tomorrow night, or again on tonight if you're seeing this on Tuesday. Now on Wednesday, I've got a couple of things that are going on that are family related. Wednesday morning, my wife and I go to a follow-up doctor's appointment to talk about a procedure. Many of you know that she had been ill. Wednesday evening, my middle son, my youngest son, middle child, I should say, graduates from middle school. So I'm going to obviously be there being a proud dad at middle school. So I'm probably going to have a webinar Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. 4 p.m. Eastern. Again, on the back of the Tuesday night webinar. On the back of the Tuesday night webinar, filling in some gaps, so on and so forth. Again, there's going to be some major enhancements to the compensation plan. There'll also be some modifications, so I want to make sure that you understand those as well. Okay. Then on Thursday, we will have a couple of webinars Thursday. Same thing, really just got kind of to fill in the gaps. We'll have a couple of webinars on Thursday so that we can hit our entire audience. So if you're international and you're 6-7 hours ahead of where we are, the U.S. on the East Coast, then we're going to have a Thursday 12 noon webinar. And so for many of you, that's going to work better for you if you're in the UK and you're 6 hours ahead, if you're in some other parts of the world. Then we're going to come back and have a team webinar at 7 p.m. on Thursday. You'll notice all the links in the email post that we are doing. By the way, if you're not a part of our email list, just send an email to JubiRev, R-E-V, team, T-E-A-M, at aweber.com. Just send a blank email, hey, add me, and the system will automatically add you. Jubi, J-U-B-I, Rev, R-E-V, team, at aweber.com. All right, so Tuesday, we're going to have a couple of webinars, and then there will be a corporate webinar also on Thursday night. So there'll be a corporate webinar on Thursday night. We'll have a couple of team webinars. Again, I want you to come to the Tuesday night webinar, corporate update webinar. J. Joshua Beisler is going to talk to you about some of the conversations he's had with the attorneys and the consultants, what we're doing in terms of modifications, so that when Mr. Regulator comes, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when, that we pass the regulatory test, as well as some major enhancements. I expect that's going to be a lot of information for you to get in one sitting. So we're going to come right after for some folks. And we're going to come right after whenever that webinar ends. I'm going to have a team webinar immediately after that. All right. So it might be 11:30 p.m. Eastern. It might be 12 midnight. Okay. I'm going to have a webinar immediately after that. Okay. Then on Wednesday, we're going to have a webinar in the middle of the day, 4 p.m. Eastern or so. My preference would have been to have something during the day, earlier during the day on Wednesday, and then something in the evening, but my family schedule does not allow that. And then on Thursday, webinar during the day, all right, and then a webinar in the evening for our team so that we fully understand and comprehend that, ladies and gentlemen, here's the bottom line. We don't want to have to keep building this thing over and over and over again. And if you have ever built a team, all right, and you've been with company A over here, and then for whatever reason you migrated to company B, maybe company A left you, maybe you didn't like some things that were happening in company A, and then you eventually migrated over to company B. If you've ever had that happen, you know that's no fun. It's no fun to start over, and it's no fun when you make that migration, because if company A didn't leave you, now, if company A just left and they're no longer, it makes that easy to find the next business that you're going to promote. But I've been there. I've been on both ends of the spectrum. I've been with a company where the company was still there, the company still existed. For whatever reason, I decided, or I felt like that it was in my family's best interest, my team's best interest, for us to start, promoting heavily something else. And I'm going to tell you that when that happens, you always lose an element of credibility. I mean, the last venture that I was with before JubiRev JubiMax, I was the top leader in that particular company, had the top totals and so on and so forth. But I saw some things I just didn't like, some things that made me very suspect about the management team. I didn't think they were going to do what they wound up doing, which was essentially terminating all the U.S. reps. But when I made the decision, and then I came public with that decision, that I was going to go in another direction, while many of you that follow me intimately said, well, if T. Lamont's doing that, hey, we need to pay attention, okay? There were others that were on our team, I got berated a little bit, I got a little mud that was slung. Now, I'm going to tell you, I had quite a few of those folks come back, call me and Skype me and apologize and what have you after things happen. But needless to say, my point is, I don't want to have to build it again, period, okay? I've been in this thing 19 years. Yes, that's a great story. Built 4 7-figure businesses. Yes, that's a great story. But you know what I would love to be able to say? I'd love to be able to say I've been with JubiRev JubiMax for 19 years. That's what I want to be able to say. I don't want to build this again. And so I'm so excited that, and it's going to, again, your mind's going to maybe be a little clouded when you come to the webinar, all right, because there's going to be a lot of information thrown at you. But that our president and our owner has the fortitude and has the character and has the, what's the word I'm looking for? Integrity. The integrity and the character to make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that I's are dotted and T's are crossed so that we can go to bed at night and we can sleep soundly and wake up in the morning and know that our company is going to be there. That's what you're going to start to hear on tomorrow night. And then that's what we want to really express going forward the remainder of the week and then beyond. We love each and every one of you. Let's change the world together, starting with yours.